Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for joining today's live. We just all right. Welcome, guys. I'll just hold on for another 1 minute and wait for others to join us. Hi, Owolabi, Sharon, Iyai, thank you for joining us. Naju's Dreams, you're welcome to Negxy Wednesday Live. So, we'll start at exactly 12:05. I want others to join so that we can all start together. Okay, so I want to welcome you once again to today's live session. My name is Fokonsin, and here at Negxy Concept Limited, I am the Visa Advisory Officer. So today we're going to be talking about how to avoid common pitfalls for UK student visa application, especially for this September intake. Now, if you were part of our live last week, when my colleague Roslyn talked about the new updates from the UKVI, so you know that after September, the next intake is January, and by that January there will be a lot of changes. So it is good that at this point you put in correct information, you put in correct application, so that you get your visa. If for any reason there's a denial this September intake, it could be a problem, because the next intake, which is January, may not be as easy as it is now. So you cannot afford to make any mistake with your application at this period. This is not the time to gamble with your visa application. You must ensure that you put in once and for all a visa application that will fly. You must ensure that you avoid anything that can lead to a visa refusal, because if you don't go this September, we don't know what is coming in January. So this is not the time where you can say, oh, if there's a refusal, you can make a reapplication. You can make a reapplication, but then a lot of things would have changed by the next intake. For example, you know that if you have dependents and for any reason you have a refusal this period, you may not be able to go with your dependents by the next intake, which is January. So this is the time to do it once and for all and get it right. Thank you guys for joining. Hi, Big Toms, hello. So this is the time. This is one of the critical moments. If you are looking at September, either you have gotten your cars, or you are waiting cars, or you are waiting an offer, this is the time to do it correctly. There is no time for gambling. There is no room for mistake this period. We all know that visa application, if you are refused a visa, for example, the fee is not refundable. They are not going to refund your visa application fee. What you are going to get back is just your IHS. So refusal will lead to loss of money, loss of time, especially now that a lot of changes are coming in. Schools are changing some of their requirements. It is just good that, hi official DYDX, good morning. It is just good that you do it very well. You do the right thing and avoid a refusal or a denial. So I'm going to be talking about, so now I've told you about the disadvantage of getting a refusal. There is no room for it this period. There is no time for that. So, and I'm also going to talk about some of the reasons why people are being denied the visa and how to put in a very good application that will get you a visa. So if you are here, it's either you've gotten an offer, you are waiting an offer, or you've gotten your cars. Either ways, you are looking at going this September. That is if you are here now. So if you have anybody on the same table that wants to join, that is going for September, please tell them to join today's live. It's going to be very educative and informative. Like I said, you cannot afford a refusal at this period. It's going to be very costly. You may not be able to go with your kids again. You may not be able to go UK, especially for the UK. It may become the dream may no longer come true. So one of the reasons why people get refused visa is because they provide false information. especially if you have applied to the UK before. If you are putting an application for a student visa, whether or not you applied 10-15 years ago for another category of visa, you must put in correct, consistent information. If you put in any false or misleading information, your student visa is going to be denied. It doesn't matter how long ago you applied, as long as you have applied before they have your information and you are applying now, you must put in correct and consistent information to avoid a denial. Another reason is if you have incomplete documents. If you provide incomplete documents for student visa, it may not necessarily lead to a denial, but it can lead to delay, and this is not the time for that, because you have a course start date, you have a last joining date, so you have to meet up with it. You have to provide complete documents at the start of your visa application to avoid delay or denial. Now, another thing that leads to refusal, commonly, especially for Nigerian, is providing fake documents. Please, if you are applying for a student visa, ensure that all your documents are genuine. Do not provide any fake or false documents. They will know, and you are going to be refused and banned from coming to the UK for about 10 years. So please make sure that you provide genuine documents, no fake document, no fake false information. Your passport, your school document, your bank statement, everything should be genuine, because they will find out if you provide fake document, and that will lead to a refusal and a ban. So please, you have to avoid that. Another reason why people are being denied student visa is when they pay incomplete fees. Now, if you are applying for a student visa, you are going to pay the IHS fee and the visa fee. Now, I can tell you that today the IHS fee, but it's not even something that you need to worry about. Honestly, all you need to do is, while you are filling your application form, you provide correct information. And when I say correct information, your correct course start date and your correct course end date. By the time you do this, the system is going to automatically generate the fee that you are going to pay. So it's not like you need to go about and start asking, oh, how do I know the fees to pay? Just put it, because IHS is dependent on the duration of your course of study. So if you just on your own put in those right information as you fill in the details for your IHS, it's going to automatically generate the amount and you're going to pay. Well, by the time you make any mistake in filling these details on your application form, if, for example, the fee you have to pay is $926 for IHS, for example, by the time you provide a wrong course start or a course end date, the system can bring $500 for you, and you will think that this is your luck. If you go ahead to pay the $500, it's going to be a problem. Now, the UKVI ought to reach out to you to say, okay, the fee that you paid is incomplete. But oftentimes, you can't rely on that. They can tell you that they can send mail and you won't even get the mail for you to complete the payment, and that is going to lead to a refusal, because when they send any mail out, they will give you a deadline to make the payment. So please make sure that at the time you are putting in your application, the fee you are paying is the correct IHS and the visa fee. Don't say, oh, you brought out 0 IHS for me and you are just happy that you're lucky. You are playing with refusal. Fill in the right details, ensure you pay the right fee to avoid delay or a refusal. Because if they reach out for you to complete the payment and you are not able to do so within the time, maybe because you missed the mail or you are going to get a refusal. So please, let's avoid that by filling in the right information on the application form. Let's not be wise in our own eyes. Okay, so another reasons why students can get a refusal is not having enough funds in their bank statement. There is a way to calculate the proof of funds that is required for your studies. It is dependent on, number one, your tuition, the deposit that you have paid, the location of your course of study, the primary location of your course of study. I say primary location because some schools can be outside London and we have campuses in London. So you have to look at your own campus. That is what will determine the cost of living for you. You can have that particular school outside in a place, maybe for example, you have Sunderland, then we have Sunderland, they have a campus in London. So you have to look at where you will be studying, where you'll be studying. That's what will determine the amount that you're going to pay, the calculation that you're going to make for your POF. Now, it's also dependent on whether or not you have dependents or the number of dependents that you have. So all these things requires calculation. You must ensure that you have the right calculation, you've done the right calculations, and the funds in your account is going to take care of this. So if you're going alone, for example, you are going to look at your tuition. If your tuition is say £10,000 and you have paid £2,000, that means you have a balance of £8,000. Now, if your school is say outside London, let's say Birmingham or in Manchester, the cost of living in those places is $9,207. You add it together, you convert it. If you're using a dollar account, yes, the money should just be there. A pounds account rather, the money should just be there. If you're using a naira account, correct conversion. The thing is, we can't give you all the information here. So if you have further questions, you can always reach out to us. We can't give you all the information here within 1 hour. It's a lot. So, but just for you to just understand how this thing works, there's a calculation that you need to follow. And if you do not calculate correctly, you are going to submit a bank statement that does not have enough money, and that will lead to a refusal. Like I said earlier, if you are just joining us, this September intake is a very critical one. You cannot afford to make any mistake. You cannot afford to have a denial this period, because the next available intake is January, and by that time a lot of things would have changed. So please, if you are looking at September already, ensure that you do the right thing once and for all and get your visa approved on time. And also, you have a course start date. Once you put in a late application that you cannot meet up with your course start date, your visa is going to be refused. So you must also be very timely with whatever you are doing now. If you've gotten an offer, please accept your offer. Go ahead to pay your deposit and get your CAS. There is no room for delay, because there's nothing like you are asking the school to extend. They have a course start date. Some of them have latest course start dates. It could be like a 5 days or 1 week extension. Once that passes, they will not give you further extension. And even if you have all the required documents, as long as you are not able to meet up with your course start date, your visa will be refused. So please, timeliness is also very important. If you apply on time, you get your visa on time, you don't have any issue. But if you put in a late application that you're not able to meet up, you may have to defer to January, and I don't think you want that, especially if you have a family. Okay, so please, if you have questions, just drop them. I will answer them at the end of by the time I'm done with my points. So now, I've mentioned incomplete documentation as one of the reasons why your visa can be delayed or denied. Now, I'm going to be talking about those documents that you need to begin to put together for your visa application. Whether or not you've gotten an offer or you've gotten your CAS, it's good to begin to put in this document. Now, for you to apply for a visa, one of the first most important documents that you need as an international student is your CAS statement. Your CAS statement is a confirmation of acceptance for studies. This is what the school, you cannot apply with your offer letter, whether it's an unconditional offer or not. You cannot put in a visa application with your offer letter. You need a CAS to say that you have accepted the offer, you have paid your deposit, and your place on the course has been confirmed. So the confirmation of acceptance for study is what you are going to use to submit to the UKVI to apply for your visa. So it is the first most important document needed for visa application. On it, you have your passport number, your name, your date of birth, your course details, the documents you have used to apply for the offer, the amount of discount that you have been given. All the details that the UKVI needs to know is on your CAS. So that is a very important document that you will get from the school. Now, once you get your CAS, please ensure that you confirm all the details on the CAS. Confirm that your name is spelled correctly. Confirm that the passport number that you have on the cards is correct. Oftentimes when students send maybe an almost expired passport to the school and then they have a new one, they don't bother of telling the school that they have a new passport. Please, if you have sent an expired or almost expired passport to the school and now you have gotten another passport, you must reach out to the school to update it on your cards, because your cards must carry the updated passport number. They can make that adjustment for you. So you must ensure that all the information that you have on your cards, they are correct information. If you finish with a BSc and on the cards what they put there is HND, please reach out to the school, let them make the necessary corrections. Don't just collect your card statement and begin to apply for your visa. Ensure you go through all the details, your names, your date of birth, your passport number, your document, the documents that are listed there, the fees that you have paid, that everything is correct. So because all this little mistake can also lead to a refusal or a delay, because by the time there's a back and forth, the UK VIA is reaching out to you to get more information or clarity on something, it delays your application. So also the bank statement, please make sure you're using a genuine bank statement. Now, if you are the student, you can use your personal account or your spouse's account, that's if your spouse is traveling with you, or your parents' account. There is no room for you to use your uncle's or your auntie's account. It is not allowed. You can only use your personal account, your parents' account, or your spouse's account if you are traveling together. Do you understand? So please, if there's any family member, there's no room for them to give you their own bank statement to use for the purpose of visa application. It has to be these 3 categories that I've already mentioned. Ensure that the bank statement that you need is for 28 days. You need a 28 days bank statement. But we advise our students to just make it 30 days. 28 days, that's a minimum. We can go above that. So we just do 30 days. 28 days bank statement is the required duration of bank statement that is needed for a student visa application. Now, the calculation, like I already said, is not a general calculation. It depends on where your school is. It depends on your tuition, how much you have paid, whether or not you have dependents. So if you have questions concerning that, you can please reach out to us. We are here to help you. We are here to help you put in an application that will fly. We are here to help you avoid any pitfall, denial, or delay in your application. So please, I may not be able to go over that, but there is a calculation that you must do. There is a particular amount that should be in your account for this period of 28 days. Okay, somebody is asking me how much is needed to be in the account. Like I said, I cannot give a general answer to that. Please reach out to us. Let us understand your application. Let's know your tuition, the school you are going to, what you have paid, and dependents, whether or not you have dependents. We're able to tell you what you should calculate. We're able to know the exchange rate at this time, and then we'll calculate for you. That is the bank statement. Put in a genuine bank statement. A genuine bank statement. Do not submit any fake or false documents for the purpose of visa. It can lead to a ban. So your bank statement is valid for the period of 31 days. You are supposed to have the money in your account for 28 days, and after that you can use it for visa application within 31 days, but the earlier you use it, the better. Then your international passport, that's another very important document that you need to have. Somebody sent me a passport last month that was almost expired. Please ensure that if you are putting in for student application, post your course start date, your passport is still valid for at least 6 months. Please ensure that you have a valid international passport. And make sure that when you are filling your application form, the passport number on your passport is what you will have on your application form. It should be correct. Okay, so don't answer question for now. Okay, all right. Just drop your questions. I'll pick at the end of when I'm almost done with my questions. Another very important document is your tuberculosis tests. So whether or not you're an adult or you're a child, a minor, As long as you are applying for a UK student visa, you are going to need a tuberculosis test. So if you have gotten an unconditional offer, or you've gotten your CAS, at least by now you must have done your TB test. You have to book, and if you have not done it already, you have to book and go for your TB test, tuberculosis test. It is very important. It is valid for a period of 6 months. This is for the sake of people maybe who deferred from May to September. If it is still valid, you can still use it. It's valid for 6 months. Ensure that the details on it are also very correct. Check the passport number, check your name, and all details. Everyone needs a TB test. Even if you have a month-old child that you are traveling with, they need a TB certificate. Yes, they need a TB certificate. So, like I said, putting in incomplete document can lead to a visa refusal or delay. So here we ensure that on the go, at once, as you put in your first application, all your documents are complete and they are good. So if you're married, you will need your marriage certificate and pictures, whether or not you are going with your spouse at this time. If you are married, you need to show proof of your marriage certificate, family pictures. We do. If you're a lady, if you're a woman, female, and you have changed your name since you got married, you need a change of name document. It can be from the court. It can include the newspaper publication. That's if you're married and you're a woman. If you have not changed your name, then you don't need to bother about it. Some people still have their maiden name on their international passport. They have their maiden name on their BSc certificate and other documents. They have not really changed their name. Then it is not compulsory that you put in your change of name document. But the moment you have changed your name, you now have your husband's name on your international passport, which is different from your maiden name that you have on other documents. You need to provide a change of name document. Now, there are other documents that you need in terms of your credentials or school document, but those ones will be listed on your CAS. So it's not like a general thing, so to speak, because you have met the conditions of your offer differently. Some people use the HND certificate, some use the BSc certificate, some provided IELTS, some used their WAEC. So on your CAS, as you collect your CAS, the school is going to mention the documents that you have used to get your offer. And those are the documents that you must submit. When I say you must submit them. The UK VI wants to see those documents that are mentioned on your CAS. So if you use your first master's certificate, or you use your BSc certificate, HND certificate, you use your WAEC, whatever documents. Some people got letter from school to show English proficiency. If that is what you have used, you need to put it. Please, you need to put it. So whatever documents under credentials that are listed on your CAS are the things that you must provide. It is not. If you may have WAEC and the school didn't take your WAEC, they asked you to write an English test. The English test is what you must provide. If you put in the WAEC, it's just an additional document. But the documents on the CAS is a must. You must provide them. If you see some CAS, they will even mention that you must provide this document that has been mentioned on your CAS specifically for you. You must provide them. So it's not really a general thing in terms of your school credentials. If you're just joining us, you are welcome once again. I've been talking about how to avoid delay and refusals for your UK student visa, especially for the September intake. And like I said, this is a very critical period. There is no room for, you can't afford to have a refusal at this period, because by the next intake, which is January, there will have been a lot of changes that will not favor you. So this is the time to do it, and to do it right, to do it correctly once and for all. So I've talked about the common reasons that people get that lead to refusal: submitting fake documents, providing incomplete documents, providing a bank statement that does not have the correct funds, or incomplete funds. Those are the reasons that can lead to a refusal. And then when you don't pay the correct fee that you are supposed to pay, the correct IHS fee especially, it can also lead to a refusal. And then I've talked about some of the documents that are needed for you to put in your visa application. Please, if you have questions, concerns that I cannot address here, just reach out to us. We are here to help you achieve your study abroad dream. These are the documents basically that you need. And then the application form. The application form is also one very important thing that you need to get right, because I believe so well that before the UK VIA begins to even see the documents that you have submitted with your application, the first thing they will see is your application form. So you need to fill it correctly. You need to be very meticulous in the way you fill the application form. That is where you have all your details. You have your name, your passport number, your course details, and especially if you have applied to the UK before, they have your record, whether or not you got the visa at that time, whether or not it's been a long time ago. The moment you have applied to the UK embassy before, you must ensure that the information that you are providing is consistent. If there will be any changes, let there be an explanation. Let them see that, oh, there's been a progression, and they will see that, okay, this is why this is different from this. Of course, some things can change. You might have changed your job, you might have changed your address, but there's some things that can, like maybe your parents' name, those things are going to be the same. So you have to ensure that you fill in the application form correctly. You have to ensure that you fill in the application form correctly. That is why we are here at Negxy Concept Limited. We help you to put in your application, to put in an application that will fly, to put in as the application that is correct. So I'm going to be taking questions now, and please, if you have questions, you can just drop them. Please, if you want us to help you make this work, please just reach out to us. Does large amount transaction affect bank statement? You are advised to please run the account with little credits. Don't put in any amount that is questionable. Don't put in any amount that will make them come back to ask you to begin to provide evidence or proof of how you got the funds. So as much as possible, please limit the amount of, you have to run the account of course, but limit the amount of credits that you put in at once, so that they don't flag it and begin to ask you questions. How much is needed to be in the account? I've already said that. Please reach out to us and provide the details that we need. We'll be able to help you with the calculation. The cost of living is one of the major things that will determine the amount that will be in your account. If your school is any other place apart from London, it is £9,207. If your school is inside London, it's £12,006. That's for the main applicant, which is the student. If you're anywhere else, it is £9,207. This and your cost of study minus your balance are the things that we are going to look at for us to be able to know how much is needed in your account. So I cannot really give you an answer. What is the required exchange rate? So the official exchange rate that the UK VI uses is from Rwanda converter. If you go online, you can see Rwanda converter. You can do that. You can use it to convert the money to naira or to pounds. But because it fluctuates, there is a way to calculate it. So please reach out to us. Let's help you. If you go ahead and just use what you have today on Rwanda, by the time you are putting in for your application in 2-3 weeks, when the bank statement will be mature, it will no longer be the same thing. So there's a way we do it. There's a way we do this calculation to help you, so that by the time you are putting in your application, it will not drop below what is required. But Rwanda is the official rate. If you go on their website, Rwanda is the official rate that they use. Do I need to deduct scholarship amount before calculating POF? You are advised not to. Please, if you have a scholarship or a discount or whatever, if you are working on your bank statement, ensure that you do not factor it in yet. Just use the whole tuition minus your deposit for the calculation. Don't factor in the scholarship yet. It's not advised. What are the documents needed to be submitted during this application? I guess you joined us late, but let me just do a recap for others that are also just joining us. The first most important document is your cash statement, and this will be gotten from the school. the moment you have met the conditions of your offer, you have paid the deposit, and they have confirmed your place in the school. So they're going to send you a CAS, which is confirmation of acceptance for studies. That is the first document. Your international passport that has a validity of at least 6 months post your course start date. That means if your course is starting in September, 6 months afterwards, that's the passport that you need. You need a bank statement with the correct amount of funds in it, a 28 days bank statement, but we advise that you do a 30 or more, but 28 days is what is needed. That's the bank statement. Your tuberculosis test is also a must-have. So if you have not already gotten it, you can please book and go and get it before the rush will start. That's if you are maybe gotten an unconditional offer and you are in the process of making deposits. You don't have to wait for that. Just go ahead and do your tuberculosis test because it is valid for 6 months. Then I mentioned that if you're married, you will need your marriage certificate, your family pictures, and then if you've changed your name, that's for the women who are married and they've changed their name since they got married. That means they have documents that carry their new surname. They need to have a change of name document. This can be from a court or a newspaper publication, but especially from a court. And then the documents that are going to be listed on your CAS, which are usually the document that you've sent to the school to obtain the offer. It could be your transcript, the WAEC, your English test, your BSc certificate, HND certificate, your MSc, whatever. So these are the documents that you're also going to need to put in your application. And this is just for students. If you have dependent, there are other documents that you need to provide. That's why I'm saying that within an hour, I can't possibly give you all this information. Please reach out to Negxy Concept Limited and let us help you put in your application. Okay, was bothering about the change of name. So if you have not changed your name, then it's not a problem. So people will decide not to change their name. My TB test will expire by July 16th. May likely be applying for visa in the same July. Can it still be valid? So what I look at is that, for example, you're not even sure if you're going to be applying in July. And even if you're going to be applying in July, is your TB test still going to be valid as at the time they'll be working on your application? Do you understand? So by the time they're working on your application, which take like 3 weeks, will it still be valid? So if you need to get another one, just get another one, because you're not even sure that you'll be able to apply for this visa in July. So just apply for another TB test and have a new TB certificate. Does ban from other countries like Canada affect UK application? Please, I can't just give you a yes or no answer to this question, because we need to look at what led to the ban and if this person had made an application to UK before or not. So there are a lot of questions that we need to ask. Please send a DM and ask that you want to speak to Focusin. That's my name, and I'll be able to give you the details that you need. But I may not be able to say a yes or a no here. What is the applicable exchange rate? Like I said, the official exchange rate is on Rwanda converter. But because it fluctuates, you are not advised to use exactly what you are seeing there on the website. If you use it, by the time you are applying in a month or 2 months, it will no longer be the same thing. It would have gone up and you are not sure. So there's a way we do the calculation so that you are able to, your money does not drop by the time you are applying for your visa. Oanda, OANDA, that's oanda.com. If you just type OANDA on Google, it will take you to the currency converter website where you can convert your money. But like I said, please do not use what you are seeing there because it fluctuates. Is proof of accommodation compulsory for visa approval? For student visa, no. Just put in, when you are filling the form, you just put in the school address and that's fine. You don't need to provide any proof of accommodation. And this information I'm giving you is as at today, 7th of June. I don't know what will happen by January. I don't know what will happen by the next intake. But for this September intake, the proof of accommodation is not yet a problem. As long as you put the school address your application will fly. That's why we are saying that you should ensure that you get everything right this period. By January, who knows, they can begin to ask for some of these things that they did not already ask for now. When is the best time to apply for visa? Is it after or during the time of building your proof of funds? Okay, so you can apply for your visa as early as 3-6 months before your course start date. Now, you will need your bank statement to be able to put in your visa application. So there's no way you can put in your visa application before you have your bank statement. The bank statement will have completed 28 days before you will have printed the bank statement before you can apply for visa. So there's no way you will put in an application for visa without your complete bank statement. I hope I'm able to answer your question. When is the right time to start admission for January intake? Yesterday is the right time to start your admission for January intake. Please, if you are looking at January, you have to start now. A lot of schools are already open for January, so to avoid the rush, you can start now. There's no right time than now. Please, if you are looking at January, you can start your application now. Okay, so I think I've been able to answer all the questions. Please, if you have further questions, do not hesitate to drop them. Negxy is located, we have offices in Abuja, Port Harcourt, and Lagos. And I also said that we have remote offices. So if you have questions, if you want to come to our office, you can call to Lagos, to Abuja, to Port Harcourt. We have our offices there. And if you want to reach out to us, please, you can reach out to us, send us a DM, ask questions, let us help you. Let us help you for this September. Let's help you make your dream come true. Please, you cannot afford, like I said, to have a visa refusal. If before now you have a visa refusal, you can always put in a reapplication, even though it will cost you money and time, which is not even necessary. But this one, that a lot of changes are coming up, you are advised to please put in your application correctly. Okay, at what rate is visa fee, black market or official? So it depends on what means you have to pay your visa fee. You're going to be using a card that can make international transactions. So if you are buying, for example, if you are funding and you are buying the black market rate, it doesn't matter how you are able to pay, as long as you pay it. So either you are buying from black market or official, it doesn't matter, because you are going to be using your card. So what matters is how you are able to fund your dollar card or your pounds card, or if you have someone abroad who is going to help you to pay. The UK VI is not concerned about the rates you are going to use to pay your visa fee. It is you who is going to source for the dollar and pay your visa fee, and it depends on how you are able to go about that. Can you please explain the 28 days proof of funds? So for the purpose of your student visa application, you need a bank statement. So when you are ready to make your application, you are going to go to your bank and you are going to ask them that you want a bank statement for the duration of 28 days. That's all. So please, if you have further questions about that, I may not be able to mention here. You can reach out and ask your question. But your bank statement, if for example, if you're applying for a visit visa, you need a bank statement for 6 months. But if it is a student visa, it's just 28 days. If you started printing from June 1st, then till June 28th, but we advise that you make it like 30 days. So you can say from June 1st to June 30th. That is the duration of the bank statement that you're going to submit. And once you have it out, it is now valid for a period of 31 days. I hope that I'm able to answer your question. Is September intake still on? Of course, but you have to hurry. The schools and courses are closing up fast. If you are looking at September, please send us a DM today and let us help you. We will to get you the available schools and the courses that are still available. A lot of schools are closing, and if you're looking at September, you have to hurry. There's no time for further delay. Do you assist in visa application? That is what we do best. Please, we assist in visa application. That is why we are here at Negxy. Even if you have already gotten your CAS on your own and you just need assistance with visa application, we can do that for you. If you have not gotten an offer, you've not even gotten started, you have not done anything yet, please just still reach out to us. We help you with admission and visa too. So please, that is our stronghold, that's our forte. We help with visa application at Negxy Concept Limited. Please send us a DM. How much do you charge for visa application process for dependent visa? Please reach out to us. We'll be able to give you this information of what we charge for visa application process. How much is the visa fee? As of today, visa fee itself, because you are making payment for two things. You are paying for insurance and then you are paying the visa fee. The insurance fluctuates, but as of today it is $10 as of today. I don't know what it will be tomorrow, because yesterday it was $905. You can see that it is increasing, but as of today it is $910. That's the IHS, while the visa fee is $469. So those are the fees that you need to pay, and these fees must be paid correctly. When you are filling the form, there are places that you need to put in the right information so that the system will be the one to generate your IHS for you. Please, if you put in wrong information there, they're going to bring something lower for you to pay, and you will be happy, and that can lead to a refusal. Please, so those are the fees that you need to pay. If you are just joining us, I may not be able to go over everything again. Please, you can watch a replay of this on our Instagram or YouTube later, so that you can get all the information that I have already dished out. Do you help with Canada study application? We help with Canada, we help with UK, and we help with the US. So yes, we help with Canada study application. Dollar or pounds? Okay, I think you are referring to the visa fee. The visa fee you are going to be paying is in dollars. If you go to their website, you're going to get the pounds equivalent, but when you are making the payment real time, it's going to bring it up for you in dollars. Or you can use the dollar card, you can use the pounds card. So that's just it. I'll take a few more questions. Please reach out to us. We help with your visa application. We help with your admission processing to UK, Canada, and the US. At Negxy Concept Limited, we have offices in Abuja, Port Harcourt, and in Lagos. And you can also reach out to us from anywhere. We have people that are reaching out to us, even from America. They have a sister or a brother in Nigeria that they want to help, and then they reach out to us and we help them. You don't even have to come to the office, but if you must, our offices are, you can check us out on our website, you can check us out on our IG, and you can reach out to us via our DM. Okay. Should the proof of funds contain school fees and accommodation fee? Okay, I've said this like twice now. When you're calculating the amount that should be in your account, the required funds, it is your school fees minus your tuition fee. Now there's something that they call cost of living. Cost of living already includes accommodation and all, so you don't need to separate it. The cost of living, as indicated by UKVI, if your school is anywhere outside London, if your school is not in London, is in any other place, whether in Scotland or wherever, it is £9,207. If your school is inside London, it is £12,006. So that's, you don't need to calculate accommodation separately or feeding separately. Just show this cost of living fee with your outstanding tuition fee in your account. That's all. So there's no need for calculating your accommodation, because you've not even at this point really made a complete arrangement for your accommodation. Okay, thanks. I enjoyed your web. Okay, thank you. I'm glad you did. So that's how to calculate the proof of funds. Yes, but if you are not sure of, just reach out to us. We are just a DM away. Let's help you to get the correct calculation for your proof of funds, because some of you have dependents, some of you don't have dependents. If I begin to give out all the information here, it may begin to look confusing to you. So if you reach out, I'll be able to ask a few questions, and we'll be able to help you with the correct calculation. For cash shield, how is the bank statement? It's the same thing that the UKVI. This person is asking that for cash shield, how is the bank statement meant to be, please? The same bank statement that the UKVI is going to request for. It's the same thing that the school also wants to see. So if you're sending your bank statement to the school, if the school is requesting for it, you have to do the correct calculation, and then you have to make sure that it is for the period of 28 days. It's the same thing. Some schools want to be sure that you have the correct amount before you go ahead to apply for your visa. So there are no, it's not different. Please, is it possible I get my reference letter from the university I graduated, and if yes, can I get it from any of my lecturers? Yes, as long as the person can put in words for you, your reference letter can come from any of your lecturers. Yes, as long as it is a school that you graduated from, it can come from any of your lecturers. So please, if you have more questions, ask your question. You can get your reference letter from the university, from any of your lecturers. They will just be able to vouch for you and talk about your educational credibility. If you're just joining us, you've missed out a lot, but thank God there's going to be a replay of this video on our IG and our YouTube channel. So just take your time, listen to it, and take the necessary action. If you have questions that I have not been able to address here, send us a DM. You can request to speak with Focusing, or you'll be directed to the right person once you tell what you want. So any available space for upload of affidavit in cash shield. If, for example, you have your WAEC certificate and the affidavit is for your WAEC certificate, you can just attach it as a single PDF and upload it together. So it depends on the kind of affidavit that you have and the purpose that it is serving. And there are different schools with their own different cash shield. So if there is no room for it, upload it together with the documents that you are referring to. If maybe there was an error on your WAEC certificate or your BSc certificate or whatever, upload it together so that as they are seeing the document, they are also seeing your affidavit. How long does it take for admission to be out if I start January admission now? This depends on the school and the course of study, but it can't be too early. That's just what I want you to know. And that's Katie Brown. You can't be too early. It's better for you to be early than late. So even if it takes a week or 2 or 1 month, if you start now, you are still going to be on time. Do you get? So it depends on the school. You can take a week, 2 weeks, or more. Can I use the same bank account for CAS and visa application? So the private label boss, I may not be able to give you a yes or no to this as well, because for example, I don't know, after you have submitted your bank statement to the school, I don't know how soon you are going to get your CAS, for example. I don't know how soon you are going to be ready to apply for your visa application. So I can't really say yes or no, but just know that when you have a 28 days bank statement, it is valid for 31 days. Do you understand? So I think that will help inform your decision whether or not you can still use the same bank statement for your CAS, the same bank statement for CAS for your visa. So I can't really say, because I don't know how long this is going to take for you post getting CAS and then maybe applying for your visa application. Okay, since there are no more questions, so Ines Seduko, you're just joining us. We have almost come to the end of today's live, so please go ahead and watch a replay. It's been very educative and informative. You're going to be able to get a lot of information about your visa application for September. So please go ahead and watch a replay of this on Instagram or on YouTube. Please, Victor Emefiele, so that I'm able to advise you correctly, please send us a DM. Send a DM and ask that you want to speak to Focusing. I'll be able to help with if you are able to still use the same bank statement or not, because this information now is like a lot for me. 4th of June, just send a DM and let me know how it is going. Yes, so the UK VI has a 28 days and 31 days.